So at this point, I know his name, I know where he lives, and I know his license plate number. I genuinely think I was like lacking neurotransmitters in my brain. And so I'm like, this must be his house. Like that's where he lives. I've girl bossed a little too close to the sun right now. Hi guys. I unfortunately cannot use this mic the whole time because I have to do my makeup, but I hope you can still hear me after, okay? Ready? Check, check. Can you still hear me? Sorry if I sound like I died. For some reason, my voice has been going like really easily, like I haven't been losing my voice almost. Also, my throat hurts, so I might be getting sick. I don't know. I really hope I'm not. I don't feel sick, but whatever. Point is, I'm telling a story today that I remembered recently, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't told this story on my channel yet. And I have told this story on the internet before, just not on my channel. So, if you've heard this story before, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to listen to it again. So to understand the story, we have to go back to when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. I moved to Malibu, California, and I didn't have any friends. I was kind of a weird child. I was social, I wanted friends, I just didn't have any. So I moved to Malibu, no friends, and I was boy crazy. I don't know about you guys when you were 12, but boys literally controlled my every thought, my every action, my every ounce of my being. Like it was just controlled by men. Don't ask me why. So one day I'm going to the grocery store with my sisters because that was something we did. We lived in this weird town. We had no friends. The only thing to do there is either go to the beach or go to the grocery store because that's it. Like there's no malls. There's no, I don't know, ice skating rinks. There's no place to do anything. So I was going to the grocery store. We would go and we would sit and read magazines. So one day I was driving to the grocery store and I see a boy walking on the side of the road. And I know it sounds weird how a story of me becoming a legitimate stalker can start from me seeing a boy on the side of the road, not even speaking to him, just seeing him. Okay, that is the level of delusion we're talking, okay? But that's it. I saw him on the side of the road and I was like, oh my God, what a beautiful man. And keep in mind, he was many years older than me. I think he was in high school and I was 12. I think he was a junior at this point. So I was probably 5 years younger than him, 4 years younger, something like that. So from that moment on, for some reason, my little delusional brain is set on the fact that I need to see him at any time, at any cost. I just want to see him and I want to speak to him because in my mind, if I talk to him, then like maybe he'll like me, you know? Let me take a pause and use my mic for a second. So I just keep going to the grocery store and I keep seeing him like every now and then. And I see him at the grocery store and he's just buying something or he's hanging out because again, there's something to do there. And it's in like a big shopping center and there's like a pizza place there. I see him at the pizza place sometimes. I just try to go to the grocery store at any chance that I can. I know it sounds weird. You might be a little confused. Why is she trying to see this boy? Like, does she know him? Am I missing something? Like, have they spoken? No. You're not missing anything. I knew his name and I knew what he looked like. I knew he had a twin brother because I saw him with his twin brother multiple times. And that's kind of all I knew about him. And then one day, and I'm not kidding, this is the highlight of my life at that time. I'm reading my magazines and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go out into the store and buy something. And who gets in the line behind me? Him. He does. He gets in the line right behind me and I was freaking out. And I was 12 and he was 17 and he was so attractive and I had never spoken to him in my life. I was just mentally obsessed with him and he had no idea. He had never seen me in his lifetime before. So he didn't care about me, right? But I'm in this line at the grocery store and it literally sounds like a movie. Like it sounds like I made this up. He looks at me and he says to me, unprovoked, "Do I know you from somewhere? Like, I feel like I recognize you." And I was like, no? Like, what would he know me from? Like, maybe he just recognized me from town. Or maybe it's because like the Halloween before, I think I saw him at a Halloween party when I was like 11. And I think I saw him there, so like maybe he I don't know. I have no idea. And then we had like a really short conversation. So then what do I decide to do? I decide to message him on Facebook. And at the time it seemed fine to me because I was delusional, but I was like, I'm just gonna message him and be like, hey, I saw you at the grocery store. How would I have known his name? How would I have known his last name? I don't know, but I knew his full name. I'm forgetting, I don't even remember his full name now. I don't even know his full name. So I DM him on Facebook and I'm like, hey, I saw you at the grocery store, which is so weird because like, again, how was I supposed to know his name? How did I find his Facebook? Well, I knew it because I saw him around town enough that you kind of just start to learn like who he's friends with and like his mutual friends and whatever. And then you see him on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And then you're like, oh, that's him. I don't know how. I don't know how I figured this out, but I just kind of figured it out from seeing him around. So anyway, I message him and he responds. And I don't remember because it was so long ago, like I can't remember what we talked about, but I do remember that we had a Facebook conversation. Like we had a full-on conversation on Facebook and it was casual and it was chill and I was 12, but he didn't know that. Like I looked older, so I think he didn't know that I was 12 and he had no idea that I was like mentally stalking him. And guys, I'm just letting you know it gets worse from here. Like the whole stalking thing, you might think that this is the full story. Like, oh, I was obsessed with him and I wanted to see him at the grocery store. No. It gets weirder than that. And honestly, at this point, it's been like a year. Like it's probably been a year of me thinking about him, trying to see him around, and like it just keeps me going. Like that little dose of serotonin I got from seeing him anytime I saw him around town, that was enough to keep me obsessed with him. Like just seeing him. Not even speaking to him, seeing him, okay? To the point where I memorize his license plate number so that just in case I see him driving in front of me, like not me, my family, because I couldn't drive. In case I was driving and he was in front of our car, I would know it was him and like I wouldn't question whether it was him. I don't know why I needed to know this, but this is the brain of a 12-year-old girl. Not only do I memorize his license plate number, I also memorize his brother's license plate numbers. And I still remember them. Like I can still recite those license plate numbers because they have never left my brain. Like I repeatedly said them over and over and over again to make sure that I did not forget. So I then started going on bike rides, like for fun, okay? It's innocent. And there's basically only a few neighborhoods in Malibu. There's not a lot. There's basically a long highway that goes through the town, like takes like 20 minutes to drive through the whole thing. And there's a bunch of neighborhoods off the side, but the places where like the locals live, there's not a lot of options. There's only a few neighborhoods, okay? And so there was this cute little neighborhood right by my house. It was basically at the bottom of the hill that I lived because I lived in like a cliff, like on a cliff in a canyon. And we would drive our bikes down the hill and we would go bike riding in this neighborhood, okay? At some point, bike riding in this neighborhood, I see the guy that I'm obsessed with. And keep in mind, it's been like a year of me being obsessed with him. We've spoken on Facebook. He definitely knows who I am. Like he's seen me enough to where he knows who I am. But I see him driving in the neighborhood and I'm like, maybe he lives here. And I basically start going on these bike rides all the time, you know, to have fun, but also there's a little perk that comes along with it, which is that I might see my crush, okay? So I drive by a house and him and his brother's cars, which I memorized the license plates to, are both outside. And so I'm like, this must be his house. Like that's where he lives. And anytime I ride my bike by it, I get like nervous and excited at the same time because I like want to see him, but I also don't, because like seeing someone drive by your house is a little bit creepy. Like it could be by chance or whatever, but I was going on these bike rides pretty frequently. So I kind of tried to not like be seen doing this, but I would ride by his house all the time. Like all the time. I would just ride my bike right by his house. So at this point, I know his name, I know where he lives, and I know his license plate number. And then I start following him on Instagram and he gets a girlfriend. Actually, I don't follow him. I start stalking him without following him. And he has this girlfriend and she's actually way younger than him. So I have hope because he's dating a girl who's a freshman and he was a junior or senior, which like now that I'm an adult, I know that that's like a red flag. Like a boy who is in high school who's dating a freshman when he's a senior, that's super weird, but I didn't care. I didn't think about that because I was young, so I didn't get it. So he gets a girlfriend. And to be real with you, one of the saddest moments of my life in terms of like most embarrassing and bleak moments of my life was the night that they went to prom together. I had spoken to this man one time in person, and I saw that he went to prom with his girlfriend and I cried about it. I laid in my bed and I listened to Taylor Swift and I cried because my crush, who had no idea that I even existed, he went to prom with someone else. Mind you, his girlfriend, but someone else. It wasn't me. Did I expect him to go to prom with me? No. But was I sad that he went with someone else? You betcha. So this is where kind of the catalyst to the story happens and where my real stalkerness comes out and I realize I need to stop. Okay? At some point, maybe a year later, like this is within the span of a few years, guys. This goes really deep. I was obsessed with this man. I thought about him every single day. I saw him any chance that I could. I memorized every aspect of his life that I could possibly remember. So it's been a couple years at this point. I'm a little bit older. I'm maybe 13 or 14 now. And he starts working as a pizza delivery man. I don't know how I learned this. I don't know how. I think it was because like my family went to that shopping center where the pizza place was enough. And like I saw him working a few times because we ate at the pizza place. Like it was a good pizza place, okay? I really wanted him to deliver pizza to my house. Like I wanted it desperately, okay? Was I gonna talk to him if he came to my house? No. But was I just going to see him in person and get excited about it? Yeah, so that's why I wanted it, okay? I call the pizza place and I say, hi, what days does work? That was his name. And they're like, oh, I think he works like Sundays or something. Like he works 1 day a week. I'm like, okay, thanks. And I hang up the phone. But keep in mind, I used *67. And if you don't know what that is, at least in America, I don't know if it's still a thing, but if you dial *67 before you call a number, then it'll like block your number. Like they won't be able to see what number they called from. So for some reason, I genuinely think I was like lacking some neurotransmitters in my brain. I don't know if it was dopamine. I don't know if it was serotonin. I don't know if it was norepinephrine, but I was lacking something. And something about calling this man's work and saying, when does he work? Was so thrilling and exciting to me that I had to do it again. And this time I made a fatal mistake and I didn't block my number. And I didn't dial *67. I thought it wasn't a big deal. I called from my little iPhone that I had and I said, hi, when does work? And this time, I don't know if they told me, I don't know if they said, I don't know, but I hung up the phone. And then about 10 minutes later, they called me back and I didn't know who it was. So I was hesitant to pick up the phone, so I didn't. I sent it to voicemail because I thought it was like a weird person. And then I get a text from the number and it says, who is this? And I say, who is this? And they say, I asked you first. And I was like, who is this? And then they said, Samantha, your turn. And I said, who is Samantha? Like, I don't think I know you. And I didn't respond to them because I felt weird about it. But I also kind of had this gut instinct that it was the guy that I had a crush on. So I called him back and they answer and he says, hello? And I say, who is this? And he says, it's, why do you keep asking for me at the pizza place? And I hung up the phone because like, what the hell am I supposed to say? Because I'm a 13-year-old girl who has had a crush on you for 3 years and I can't stop thinking about you and I just want you to deliver a pizza to my house. And I also have your license plate memorized and I know your address and I know the names of your brothers and I know your full name and I know where you work and I know when you work and I know when you go to, where you go to high school and I know your Instagram and I know your girlfriend's name. Like, what the hell was I supposed to say, right? So then I don't speak to him. And basically in a couple days, I get another phone call, but it's from a different number. And so this time I have my sister Lisa answer because again, I thought it was like a fan or something. I don't know. And like, I wanted her to like do a fake voice so they didn't know it was me. So she answers the phone. She says, hello, like in her weird fake voice. And then they're like, who is this? And it's a different guy. It's not the guy I have a crush on. And she's like, it's Samantha. Who is this? And she had no idea that Samantha was a fake name that the guy used. And then he said, caught red-handed. This is the best friend. Why do you keep asking for him at the pizza place? And then we hung up the phone. We freaked out because my sister knew about this. I'm not even kidding. 30 seconds later, I get a text from and it says, so Samantha's your name. He was so eerie. He was so passionate about this. He wanted to know who it was so bad. And I don't think it was because he was scared. Like, I think he thought that I was a girl who had a crush on him and he wanted to know who had a crush on him. I think he was a little bit desperate, to be honest with you. I don't respond to him. I don't say anything. I don't tell him my real name. And I'm like, okay, I need to chill. Like, I really need to stop being a weirdo. Like, this is getting, like, I've girl bossed a little too close to the sun right now. And I need to stop because this man is on to me. And if I do one wrong move in the future, he's gonna know it's me. And then my life is gonna be ruined because he's gonna know that I'm a stalker, okay? And then 1 year later, I'm moving out of Malibu. I'm moving to Tennessee. And my family, on a whim, is just like, oh, we should order pizza, like, before we go. And so I order from the pizza place that he works at, but I wasn't even really thinking about him. Like, I just kind of ordered. And like 30 minutes later, he delivered pizza to my house and we had a conversation. He remembered me from the girl who he saw around town a bunch of times and speaking to him at the grocery store and talking to him on Facebook. But he didn't put together that I was Samantha. Like, he didn't know. And so he's in my house and he's like, oh, are you guys moving? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, where are you moving to? And I was like, Nashville. And he's like, cool. And then I like write the tip and then he leaves. If I were to say anything to you guys, don't do this. Don't stalk people. Don't like people you don't know because you don't know them and there's no reason for you to like them. And shortly after this, I kind of learned that lesson and I was like, I didn't really know him. I just thought he was attractive and like didn't have any other men to even think about. And so I became obsessed with him, but that's not right. Okay, hope you guys don't look at me differently now. That's the story of when I was a stalker. Please don't do that ever. Be safe. Goodbye.